How you doing, guys? I made the title of this video the perfect plan for surviving economic collapse. And that's not because I have the perfect plan, and that's sort of the point of this video. There's a, I don't know what the name for it is, but there's actually some sort of like psychological bias that appears when a plan is rejected simply because it's not perfect. And this can actually get you into a lot of trouble. I heard a saying, I think it's probably from the military, where perfect is the enemy of good. And that means that striving for the perfect plan, something that usually doesn't even exist. You can never have a perfect pretty much anything. But striving for the perfect plan will cause you to disregard all the other good, solid, legitimate plans that you'll come up with along the way that could have helped you reach your goal. And you'll see this a lot in the survival and preparedness community. I referenced it in the what-ifers video that I did, Don't Be a What-Ifer, where plans are disregarded simply because you can come up with some scenario that would render that plan useless, no matter how outlandish that scenario may be. And so this goes back to that. When you're coming up with your ideas for what you need to do to be prepared in general, or to be prepared for a specific thing like economic collapse, or job loss, or hurricanes, or snowstorms, or power loss, or whatever, you don't need the perfect plan. Remember the 80-20 rule that I went over just a few videos ago, where if you have a few things can take care of, or 20% of the things you have will take care of 80% of the problem. But one thing that made me think of that was I was listening to a interview that James Wesley Rawls did. I think it was on the Survivor podcast. And first of all, James Wesley Rawls has done more for like getting the message out about preparedness than I ever will, but I really don't like the way he kind of is an all or nothing. He's really into the extreme what-ifer type of zone in my mind, and I think that turns a lot of people off. And on this interview, they were talking about house hardening, and that someone mentioned that a block house would be good for small arms fire, and he mentioned that it's not really adequate because if someone had the wherewithal, they could just chew your house to rubble with automatic weapons and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, like, what are you talking about? Like, sure, of course he's right, but what is the scenario that he's envisioning? That you're going to have like a whole platoon of guys with crew-served weapons around your house just chewing away at your concrete block until it's nothing there? Alright, I mean, sure, that's possible, but what do you expect to do about that? It's also possible that a meteor is going to land on your house. So trying to have the perfect solution for staving off an entire like military unit of armed, dedicated assailants is going to prevent you from doing the simple things like deciding to live in a block home instead of a shitty little, drywall house or something, because you heard him say that you're not going to be safe anyway or something like that. So remember, don't worry about having the perfect plan. That's the point of this video. Have a solid, good plan and realize that problems are going to arise along the way, and be flexible enough to deal with that. And that's another problem with having the perfect plan. Is that once you think you have the perfect plan, you think you're done, and then there's nothing else you have to do, and that can leave you with a lot of bad surprises. So don't try to have the perfect plan, just have a good plan and be flexible and ready to deal with stuff as it arises.